Okay, well, let's begin. Since everybody is on time, I want to be respectful of that. Welcome everybody to the Postgraduate Certificate in Accounting program preview. My name is Todd Rich. There's my photo. You can also see me, my image, I think, on the video. I will be the presenter today, and I will walk you through the program, share some details, and tell you more about that in a moment. I've been at York since July of 2017, so almost a year, and I manage the accounting program as well as some other programs in business, and we have a new program launching in content marketing and digital marketing. When I explain my role to people, I usually say it's like running a small business. So anything that happens within the program really falls on me, from hiring instructors to worrying about the student experience, which is super important, to worrying about budgets, to worrying about some of the marketing materials, to make sure that the program is being promoted properly, doing these kinds of webinars. So really, as I said, anything that happens within that program falls to my responsibility. Here's our agenda for today. If you're not familiar with York University, I'll just give you a quick little overview of who we are. I'll obviously talk about the accounting certificate. We do have two formats, one in person, one online, so I will share information about both of those. I will talk very briefly about the CPA designation, since I assume most people are interested in pursuing that. I'll talk about the application process, the registration, and at the very end, I will stay online as long as possible and as long as you need to answer any questions you may have. Just two quick housekeeping items. I am recording the session, so if people have to jump off at some point, that is fine. If people have to share this with their supervisor or their manager to get approval to take the program, and maybe if they're being funded by their employer, I will share this, or we will share this with you in the next day or so. And there is a chat box for questions, so if you have questions throughout the session, feel free to send me a quick note, and I will, like I said, answer them at the end. There is a question, so I'm just gonna have a quick look to see if it's about the technology. Otherwise, I'll answer the question at the end. Okay, so the question that was posed was actually specific, so I will answer that question at the very end. So I believe everybody is able to hear me and see me just fine. But if you do have questions throughout the session, like I said, feel free to post them now, and then I will at the end go through and answer them all. So just a quick little description of York University if you're not familiar with who we are. We are located in Toronto. We are the second largest in Ontario and the third largest university in Canada. We do have some world-class rankings. Our business school is often ranked very highly. It's the #1 business school in Canada. We have a very strong law school. We have over 7,000 faculty and staff, over 50,000 students, close to 3,000 alumni, and we have a very diverse international student population from over 178 countries. And our continuing studies programs actually all have a very high number of international students as well, which does add to the learning of all students, since you get to learn how accounting happens in a variety of different places, since it may be similar, and in some cases it may be different. So I'm just going to do a quick poll to get a little information from you guys. So just bear with me for a sec as I launch the questions. So the first question I'm just curious to know is what format you're interested in studying. We have an in-person format and we have an online format. So just curious from you guys of what your response is to that. Just give people another second. All right, perfect. So you can see from the results that everybody that's on this call today is interested in the face-to-face full-time program, which is great. I will share a lot of information about that. I'll just quickly then, mention the online at some point, but I won't spend too much time on that because for this conversation, most people are interested in the in-person face-to-face. Okay, so the second question is, I was just wondering if people in their career plans were looking to pursue the CPA designation. So I'll give people a second to respond to that. Just a yes, no answer. Okay. So from the responses, it looks like most people are looking to do the CPA, which I will certainly talk about. And there are some people who said they weren't sure yet. So you don't have to decide today. So that's not an issue. But at least we'll explain a little more about what it is and how you get your CPA designation. And then obviously along the way, you can decide if that's the route you want to take. My last question is, I was just wondering if people had a background in accounting, either from their personal work experiences or maybe they studied accounting in their degree. Perfect. Okay. So you'll see that everybody has the some experience in accounting, either again from a work experience or from classes or a degree that they have in accounting, which sometimes happens, especially with international students. They come here with actually a full degree in accounting, and then they take our courses, which in some cases is a repeat of what they learned. In some cases, they learn some new material. Okay, perfect, perfect. Thanks for all your responses to that. That helps me as I go through the program slides, just to personalize it a bit for your interests. Okay, so who are our students? So as you know, you have to have a university degree or a college diploma to participate in the program. So our students are a little more mature in a sense of, as you just wrote, you have some experience either academically or working in accounting, which really helps in terms of the classroom experience, because people can share how they applied what they learned in their previous experiences, or they can say how they learned it in another university or another setting where maybe it was taught differently, and people can share that experience to help people learn the material if they're struggling in some way. So really the fact that students have these experiences, they have a university degree or some sort of college diploma, really enhances the learning of all students, and even the instructor, because you learn from the instructor and the instructor learns from you. Much more holistic. You don't have to have any experience in accounting, even though it seems like most of you do, but it's not a requirement to participate in the program. And who is in the program? Again, we've got newcomers to the field, career changers, people looking to upgrade their knowledge. Maybe they've been working for a while, but they don't have the credential or maybe the designation they're trying to pursue, which requires you to take certain courses. So a pretty diverse group as well. And as I said, we've got a large international student population as well as domestic students. So again, having all those experiences really does enhance your learning. So why choose our program? I think there's lots of really good reasons, but I'll share a couple with you. Obviously, we have two formats. Even though most of you or all of you said you were looking to do the face-to-face full-time offering, we do offer the online, which allows students the flexibility to really choose the program that works best for them. Sometimes people balance in work and life and family, and they can't commit to the full-time offering. So having the part-time offering, which does take a bit longer, really is advantageous to that group. As I'm sure most of you know, our program is fairly condensed and accelerated, and it's much faster than most of the other programs that are out there on the market. So our full-time program, there's two parts to it. There's a foundation program, which is what we're talking about today, and then there's an advanced program. And each of those two programs can be done in approximately 8 months. So 2 years to do all 17 courses, which is really what you need to meet the CPA requirements for the academic equivalencies. The foundation program, which is the one we're talking about today, is 8 courses. You can do it in finish in 8 months, which really, again, is quite fast. But I will warn you, it is fairly accelerated, and it does take a bit of effort to make sure you keep up with the effort and the workload. Our program is CPA recognized, which means all the courses that we offer have been reviewed and approved by CPA. So while you're running your certificate, you are meeting their requirements to earn your CPA, but you still at the end of the day have a York credential, which you can still hang your hat on, put on your resume, and get jobs with just that credential. The other thing about our program, which is a bit unique, is it's a cohort format. So as you know, or you may know, it's one purchase for the entire program. So the same students that are in course 1 will be in course 2 and 3 and 4 up to course 8, which really helps you develop relationships with other students, with instructors. It builds a support network, study groups. So really having that sort of cohort format we find is really beneficial because you become a really tight, cohesive unit by the time you get to course 2 and 3, etc. So here are the 8 courses that you'll find in the accounting certificate. So I won't go through all the courses in great detail. A lot of them are pretty self-explanatory. On our website, I will show you our website later in the presentation, but on our website, you can go and read little descriptions on each course to learn more about them. I will just highlight 2 courses which I think are quite unique to our program and really, again, make us stand out from some of the others. So the 2 courses in red, the 7th and 8th course, the first one's called Professional Competencies in Business. Now this course is really a business communication type course, but really when you think about getting jobs, everyone will have the accounting knowledge. They'll all sort of do the similar courses, learn similar material because it has to meet the CPA requirements. But what students won't have is the soft skills, business communication, leadership, teamwork, all the things that employers are really looking for in new hires that we offer in our programs, which will then separate out and make you much more qualified to get a job. So a lot of those skills are learned in the different courses, but professional competency course in particular is around business communication, which is a very important skill, which you will certainly need, because at the end of the day, when you become a CPA, you're not usually doing debits and credits. You're doing much higher level sort of skills and tasks in a company. And the other course that we offer is a capstone course, which again ties everything into one course that you learn in the program, lots of case studies, but you can really see how things are intertwined in the real world and how you apply what you've learned into a real life work situation. So again, very beneficial in terms of how it all connects, but also how you can add value to your company once you get a job, if that's the goal. I will just do a quick commercial for the accounting, advanced accounting certificate. Again, here are the courses. You can see they're very, very heavy into the accounting component, from tax and advanced financial accounting and corporate finance and auditing. So this is our second program, which I'll show you a little bit when you look at the chart on how to get your designation. But I just wanted to show you this as a little bit of a preview of what that other program looks like. And for both programs, we offer transfer credit. So if you've taken courses elsewhere and they're 80 to 90% similar to the course that we offer, we'll happily allow you some transfer credit, which saves you time and obviously money because you'll get a refund based on that course. So here is just a little chart comparing the in-person with the online. Again, since everybody seems to be focused on the in-person, I'll focus more on that, but just so you can kind of see what the online looks like, it is up there. So in both cases, the course is facilitated by an instructor. So you're not obviously doing anything self-directed. In the in-person course, obviously there's an instructor who's working through problems and cases, teaching you the theory. You're working together as a group with other students, but the instructor is always there to answer questions and provide guidance. The in-person course, and I'll show you the schedule in a second, which will, I think, help you understand how the courses are set up. But basically, you've got 12 hours of in-class time each week. You're taking 2 courses at a time. And as I said earlier, you've got 8 months to complete that. The online is actually quite different because we're assuming people are balancing life and work and family, and they don't have the ability to take our full-time in-person program. So there's only 1 course at a time, and it's obviously a longer duration to complete. Both formats have obviously assignments and activities, and they're graded. So again, those are very similar. They may be slightly different assignments based on the learning and the format, but again, in both cases, you're being assigned assessments and things to make sure you learn the content. The in-program is actually quite a bit larger than the online, and actually the fall courses are pretty close to full. So if you're thinking of registering, you should do that ASAP. Or applying if you haven't done that yet. And we're looking at about 50 students in a class, and we're actually running 2 classes. So that's the first time we're doing that, just because the demand has been really quite high, especially from overseas. And the last thing I'll just sort of mention is all the in-person classes meet at the same time throughout the entire program. So once that schedule has been set, and you've been assigned to a time, that won't change. So you can then plan your life around that. And the online courses are asynchronous, which really means that we don't have any set times each week. You have to be online. So it's not like the online program has a Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, some live session to have a lecture. It's all asynchronous, which means it's not live. So when you log on to the course each week is really up to you to complete the work. So here's that sample schedule I mentioned. So you can see, as an example, you're in class as a student 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. You're in class, in this case, from 9 to 12 every single day. You're in the same room, which just says ABC as a sample. So on Monday and Thursday, you're in one class, Fundamentals of Accounting, and on Tuesday and Friday, you're in Economics. So again, you can sort of see you've got a day in between to sort of take a little breather. And again, from Monday to Thursday, you learn some concepts, and you've got a day or so to kind of absorb them, digest them, before you sort of present a new material in the second day on Thursday. And each class each class runs for 6.5 weeks or 13 sessions. Okay. I see there's some questions popping up, but again, I'll answer them all at the end. So just be patient with me on getting back to that. So here's a little screenshot which you may have seen from our website. This is the roadmap to earning your CPA designation. So you can see here, there's the postgraduate certificate in accounting, which is the program we're talking about today. There's the postgraduate certificate in advanced accounting, which is the one I showed you, the little commercial. There's a little another program which is called CPA PEP, PEP, which is a series of modules. And then there's a common exam. All within that, you're sort of also working, or maybe you do the work after you finish R2 programs, but you do have a work experience requirement to sit for the common exam. I forget the exact number of hours, but it's about 2 years, I think, of actual work experience to be eligible to sit for the exam. So here again is a similar sort of chart. But you can see in the pathway number 1, that's the program we're talking about today, the postgraduate certificate in accounting, no experience needed. Jobs that you may get are junior accountant, general accounting clerk, accounts payable coordinator. The second pathway, again, you do the first program, the one we're talking about today, then you do the advanced program, and now you're obviously eligible for a little more higher skilled positions in accounting or finance or supervisor. You're doing immediate accounting. So again, obviously you've done more coursework, you're qualified to do more in the workplace. And the third pathway, as I said, is both of our programs, the PEP program, the work experience, the common exam, which is quite intense, and then you're obviously then a chartered professional accountant. So you may be aware of this, but I'll just show you the schedule of where we're at with our programs. So we have an in-person offering starting in September. We have an online offering starting in September, and then we have both of them also starting in the winter. So applications for the fall, if you haven't applied yet, you should certainly do so ASAP. We're just about full, and we've got a lot of applications already for winter. So not to put a sales pitch on you, but if you're really thinking about applying, you really should do so ASAP to reserve your spot. Okay, before I jump to questions though, I'm gonna just jump to our website. So just bear with me for a second as I set up our website here. Oops. Okay, so do you guys see that? I think you do. Where's my cursor? Okay. So you may have all been to our website, but I thought I would just sort of walk you through it very quickly just to sort of show you. So when you get to our website, the School of Continuing Studies, that's taking a little longer than I thought. Let's get that. Okay, so here's our website, the main page. You can click on certificates, click on accounting, And you can see the 4 options. So there's the one we're talking about today, the postgraduate certificate in accounting. There's online, there's the full-time one we're talking about, and then there are the 2 advanced. So I'll just show you the online, the full-time one, since that's what people were most interested in when we did the survey earlier. So there's lots of information here you can look at. You can go through and read your own. Again, there's the chart I just showed you. There's the other chart I just showed you if you want to look at it in more detail. But I'll just point to a couple of things. So here at the bottom, you can see the courses, and you can see a little more description of what each course is about. So again, that'll just give you a little bit more insight into what each one is. There's information about domestic students, information about international students and what that requirement is. There's some information about our instructors, so you can read a little bit about them. You can also look at the formats and other things. I'll just scroll back to the top for a second. So if you click on the policies and procedures, again, there's some more FAQ kind of things about tuition, admission requirements. What if I miss an exam, if that's something you're curious to know at this moment. But again, just important information you may want to look at before applying. And then if you want to apply, you can go here to the enroll button. And you can see that we've got 2 options. And a lot of times it really depends if you are a full-time domestic student or you're an international student. So the first thing you'll see that the fees are different if you're international students, but everything else is pretty much the same, except the fact that international students do have to submit IELTS scores, which are language requirements. So I'll just click on the domestic one for a quick second. So here again, you can look at the courses. There are the descriptions. You can look at the specific dates. So that'll give you a sense of when things are happening. And then here at the bottom, there's an apply button. So again, you can simply apply to the program. And I'll sort of stop at this point, but you can sort of see there's an application fee. As you go through the checkout, it's going to require you to submit your degrees or some proof of completion of a degree or diploma. It's an ask international students for their IELTS scores. So you can go through that process on your own, but just know that it's pretty much the same process minus the IELTS scores. Okay. So that's kind of our website. Again, I encourage people to peruse the site. There may be some questions that you have that we have the information on our site. We're always happy to answer questions and things at any point, so feel free to reach out if needed. Okay, let me just get back to my PowerPoint deck. Okay, so I think everybody now sees my sort of contact us page, and I'll leave this page up unless people want me to bounce back to a certain page on the presentation. But just some information as I go through and answer all your questions. So here is the website, continue.yorku.ca. Elsbeth Staniland is our advisor on the program. So if you have specific questions, she's the best person to reach out to about answering them. And then Allison is also on this page, and she is our registration coordinator. So she's the one who organizes all the applications. She's the one who answers questions about payments, helps once you're in the program with transcripts and letters and those kinds of things. So, but you can always send questions to her. But really, if you're still trying to figure out if this is the right program for you, Elsbeth is the right person to talk with. And then once you become a student, it's really Allison who will take over and answer those questions.